Hi, this video this week is sort of about summer and getting out and about and sort of how good it can make you feel and also how it can help. So that's what this video is going to be about. But first of all, I want to say congratulations to my neighbours on their new baby boy, Alfie, and he has got to be the cutest baby there is. He is so small and so cute. But anyway, so we've had really good weather around where I live, Knaresborough, Harrogate area. So if you live, or if you're not in England, then you know you might have good weather there too. But so first of all, I normally hide away in my bedroom, as a lot of you know. But I don't really get out of my bedroom a lot. But I've opened up my windows, I've opened the curtains, and I started to feel, you know, looking out how nice a day it was and how I wanted to get out. So I didn't take a big leap of suddenly going out. What I did was I went to the living room, opened the front doors, and sat where, you know, I could look out and had a nice summer breeze on my face, and you know, and I really enjoyed it. And it started to make me, I must admit, make me feel a bit happy. You know, it did help make me a bit happier. So I thought, why not take it a step further? And I've been taking my dog, normally I take him a few times a day, out, but I've been taking him more often now, just to sort of get out and get an excuse to sort of walk in the sunshine. And just, you know, it really does give you sort of a bit of a energy boost and sort of gives you a bit of a feel good. So I really recommend that if you can, get out at least once a day, just either for a walk or just sit out in the sunshine, or do what I do if you have like French doors open or big windows, sit in front of there and get the summer breeze on your face, because it really does, you know, give you a bit of an energy boost and sort of does make you feel quite happy. And it certainly helped me a lot this week when I've been having a bit of a tough week, and so forcing myself to sort of sit out in the sunshine has really helped make this not as such as a bad week as it could have been. And you know, it's helped me a bit where I sort of, when I felt the urge to self-harm getting quite strong, I sort of went to sit out went for a walk in the sun, or you know, just sat near where I could look out, and it distracted me and it calmed me down. So maybe if you could, if you find that like an idea of something you'd like to do, I really recommend it, because it does give you a bit of a, I don't know, it does make you feel happy. It does make you get a bit more energy. And for a part of me, it did make me feel sort of, I know I don't like the word normal, but it does sort of make you feel normal, because you know, you can enjoy the glorious and beautiful weather as everyone else is doing, rather than be stuck inside like in a cave. So that really helped as well. So I really honestly think that if you can, get out into the weather while it lasts, because if you're from England, you know it doesn't last very long at all. Also, a lot of you have asked how's my recovery going, and it's going really well actually. You know, a few times I've nearly had a slip up. I've broken quite a lot of elastic bands with snapping them pretty hard, but I have not taken to cutting myself yet, which I'm really proud of. Also, my mood has, you know, been up and down a lot, because it is hard fighting off self-harm, but as I said, sunshine's really helped. My family's been good at distracting me, and I've done sort of a lot of looking through my files of what I've done in therapy, and sort of looked at techniques that helped me, and sort of looked back at the problems that were there that maybe have been resurfacing now. So I've taken sort of an internal look, and I sort of I sort of had a hard look at, you know, what I could do that can sort of snap me out of it. and going for these walks have done it, you know, meeting up with friends like I'm doing tomorrow. I'm off to a friend reunion thing. So honestly, I think if you feel yourself slipping backwards, I honestly think if you can say sort of, I know it's really hard taking a look at yourself and seeing what's wrong and what you're doing wrong and what's wrong, but I honestly think it does help a bit if you know the problem that is causing you to sort of slip back into what was one of your worst depression areas. And honestly, I feel a lot better now. I sort of know that, you know, avoiding friends, locking myself in my bedroom was sort of they were sort of high up on the list. So I sort of reversed it. I made myself leave my bedroom. You know, I sat, you know, for periods of time I had to leave my bedroom for this long. Every day, you know, I've met up with friends. I'm going out as tomorrow. I've gone out of the house. So it does sort of break it, and it does help a lot, because I'm feeling a lot better knowing now that I've sort of solved that problem, and if it arises again, I sort of know how to deal with it. So I honestly think it's sort of taking a look at where maybe the problem areas a bit are, that it could really help. But it is also very difficult. And also, one thing that I did which I really shouldn't have done, which I recommend that if anyone's got this either in paper or on computer like I have, delete it, which is a bit of a hypocrite because I still haven't deleted it, but I still haven't worked up the courage to delete mine yet. But what I did was, a few times I've said I've tried to commit suicide, but my last one was the worst one. But I created a suicide folder that is password protected on my laptop, with letters to my family, a few friends, stuff that, you know, that I wanted my, you know, family to have, that, you know, that I really wanted them to keep of mine, stuff I wanted to happen at my funeral, you know, and all my feelings of why, and a letter just, you know, just in general to say what I've been feeling, and, you know, how nothing they could have done could have helped. And I thought that I was in a better place now, and I honestly thought that it would help me if I read it, and that was stupid, because it doesn't help. Because I opened it and I saw how many documents was in there, photos, and I sort of went through it, and it took me hours. I was home alone, so I knew I wouldn't be interrupted for God knows how many hours. So I read it, and I remember being quite horrified, because you read it, and I was expecting to notice that, oh, I don't feel that way anymore. You know, that's not a problem for me, that's not a problem with me, that's not a problem with me. But then I noticed how much I still feel, and how many things I still deal with today. And that was written, God, nearly a year ago. That was first written, and it really shook me. And those feelings sort of stuck in my head, because then I realised, you know, all that therapy work I've done, all the self-work I've done, all the experiments, everything, it hasn't worked. I've got from here to here, and that is it. And I still feel a lot of those things, so they literally sort of latched on into my head. And for the rest of the day and a few days after, I was just having these thoughts inside my head, you know, that I was a failure. You know, if I still feel like I did in that suicide folder, why am I still here? What's the point of still being here? And I did get quite down, because I thought, well, it's true, you know, if I'm still feeling the exact same things I was feeling in that folder, what is the point of being here? And it was a very, very hard few days. And I honestly recommend that if you've got something like that, while you still can, and when you feel like you've still got the courage, either delete it or just don't look at it. Hold on as long as you can to not look at it, because it really, really does put you back. And it really does, you know, sort of whack a hole in what you've been, you know, those, like, your building blocks or whatever. It sort of just knocks it down. And I honestly didn't think I'd be able to get myself back up after this. because I constantly reread it again and again and again. And the more I read it, the more those things in those letters rang true. And I didn't edit anything, I didn't rewrite anything, but, you know, it really hurt me. And I had to sort of, you know, stop myself from printing it out. And I really got to a low point when I was like, am I really going to try it again? Am I really going to try suicide again? But what happened was, I sort of thought to myself that, you know, I've got, before I get to that lowest point, let me try what I tried before. And I, you know, as a lot of you know, that I watched that Glee episode that came on, and it really helped, and it made me feel something, and that's what saved my life. So I watched some Glee episodes, and I started to feel things again. So then I knew that, you know, as long as I was feeling something, then I knew that I could do it. So then that sort of went on to self-harm. But I knew that I'd come so long without doing it after my relapse that I couldn't do it again. So that's why the elastic bands were breaking. So what I did was I sort of distracted myself with TV episodes and, you know, box sets, watching films, you know, hanging out with my mum and everything, until I saw my doctor. And he was like, yeah, but you didn't edit it. You know, that means you're not as bad, you know, you didn't re-edit it, you didn't print it out. So you're obviously not at that place. And it really did help me, because it sort of did like go, well, if I did really want to commit suicide, nothing would have stopped me from re-editing it, printing it out. Nothing would have kept me from doing that. So then that sort of relit a bit of hope in me that I could do this. You know, whereas before I would have totally done it. Now I've got these sort of tips and techniques and a bit of strength in me to say no. So that really helped, was going to have another perspective of what I've done. And it really did help me. And I mean, I've still got the folder now. It's still on my computer. It's still password protected. But, you know, when I do get the courage, I will delete it. So I honestly recommend that if it's not bothering you and you feel like you could delete it, delete it. And if you can't delete it yet, hold on for as long as you can not to look at it, because it will whack a big hole in your sort of progress. Because it does, you know, when you see how far or how little you've come, it sort of ring, you know, and those feelings that are written down on that paper, say what you're feeling now, it sort of does mess with your head. And it's a very dark time after that period when you've read the folder. So I really hope that, you know, either you can delete it or just ignore it until you get the courage to delete it, because it really, really does hurt you, and it's really not a nice thing to have to go through. And also, as I've mentioned earlier on in the video, my neighbours have had a cute little baby, and that's also something that sort of gave me a little hope, was when I saw the baby, Alfie, and it was so cute and, you know, so tiny. I was looking at the baby and I was just like, he doesn't know what all life is ahead. He's got his whole life ahead of him, you know. He's got nothing to worry about. He's just starting out in the world, and, you know, he's barely, you know, he's not even a week old yet. And it sort of rang true with me, you know. I haven't lived that long yet. I'm not even 20. So I haven't even lived 2 decades yet. And I was ready to say goodbye and end it. But then, looking at the baby, I realised I've still got a lot of my life ahead of me. I've still got years and years of, pain, heartache, struggle, especially with the self-harm, you know, all the mental illness stuff. But I've also got a lot of happiness to come. And it sort of lit a fire in me looking at baby Alfie. And it sort of gave me more, you know, hope that, you know, I've still got my whole life ahead of me. And everybody has troubles. Everybody has something that is the hardest thing they have to deal with. But you don't see them always giving up. And I know some people have it tougher than others. But I think the thing that's the most, what I want to be remembered by is someone that didn't give up. I don't want to be, if I committed suicide now, or had committed suicide, I would sort of be known as the person that gave up. You know, it got too hard and she gave up. She couldn't do it. And yeah, people would be fine with that, but I wouldn't be fine with it. I wouldn't want to be known as the person that when things got hard, she gave up. I'd rather be known that I fought my hardest to beat it and deal with it and came out stronger. So that sort of gave me a new lease of hope that I don't want to be, you know, I want to be known as a fighter. So that is what I've decided to do. I'm gonna sort of give me a bit of a new courage. So I've decided to fight twice as hard now, and I really hope this video gives you a bit of hope and help. And as always, you can message me like you keep doing. I will start writing the blog again soon, I promise. And I'm always here if you need anything. So thank you very much.